we're marketing partners. Learn a little bit about his business with you guys. We do this because without sponsors like this, and we couldn't do things like this. So Ed, all yours.
Thanks very much.
Hi, everybody. Could I get a show of hands? How many people in the room still produce a printed annual business directory or community guide of some sort? Okay, that's a good number of you. How many people are producing printed maps? Interesting. It looks like about half of you are producing printed maps. How many are producing a printed quarterly magazine or a printed newsletter still? Okay, again, interesting, about half of you. How many of you just said, we just heard this, how many of you just said, screw the printed stuff, we're just going digital only? Okay, a number of you. Well, behind me, WACE in July put together a poll that interestingly shows, they asked these questions, and they show that 72% of chambers polled still produce a printed membership directory, 73% still produce a printed map. About half are producing a magazine, and almost everybody is doing an emailed newsletter. Well, interestingly enough, maps, it's counterintuitive. Why would you still produce a printed map? That was brought up a little bit earlier. Well, think about it from a hotel's perspective. If you go to a hotel, the hotel can circle where you're going to go. They can pinpoint some of the places that you want to go see. Realtors love maps too. You know, they can circle, we're going to see this house, that house, this. Does anybody watch House Hunters International? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they always go to 3 different places. Well, that's what realtors can do, and realtors love to advertise on those maps. I use my phone for, you know, driving around GPS and all that kind of stuff. But have you ever had your phone, you're using the map, and all of a sudden the map disappears, and all you have is a blue dot, and you're going, where am I going? I got a blue dot, where am I going? Well, that's one of the challenges of having the digital technologies. When you lose your cell service, all you have is a blue dot. So using them together is great. Printed business directories, it's a business directory in and of itself, these things have been evolving, they're changing. But interesting that people are still doing printed business directories. E-newsletters. Does anybody in the room have more than a 30% open rate on their e-newsletters? You, 1? 2? You guys must be doing something really good. Well, 30% is about the average open rate. So if you have 500 members and you're emailing your newsletter, 150 people are being connected with. You're connecting with 150 people. So you're still only connecting with 30% of your membership. So something to keep in mind when you're looking at how you're communicating and what message you're communicating out there. So question is print dead? Well, interestingly enough, the other day, I was on the Airbnb website booking a room for one of our employees, and look what came up. The new Airbnb printed magazine. Airbnb, a digital company, is producing, look, explore the magazine. You can get it in print, you can get it online. Who knew? Several years ago, JCPenney announced a long-term brick and mortar company. They stopped printing their catalog. Well, they announced after 5 years of not printing it, they brought it back because their studies show the printed catalog helps drive more online sales. So all of a sudden I started to get Williams-Sonoma catalogs and all these catalogs that we used to get all the time. So, and there were so many others that had followed suit. So is print dead? Well, it's evolving. So if you're doing just a basic printed business directory, yeah, so it's 2 months old by the time that the publisher or you put it out. That's true. But from the perspective of the reader and the user, they don't know. They're looking at it as a snapshot of products and services that there are in the community. So they can be really, really strong leave behinds when they're properly done. If you're doing economic development, you can put an economic profile together. Rebrand your publication to whatever need it is that you're serving. An economic profile, you know, that's a great leave behind for an industrial community that's trying to bring in businesses. What a great snapshot of the community. And the directory shows that snapshot of products and services that are available. One important thing about when you're putting any kind of a publication or website or anything together, ask these 3 questions. Who am I trying to reach? What am I trying to say? And how am I going to get it to them? So regardless of whether you're doing a directory, whether you're doing a guide, whether you're doing a map, identify those three things. I've seen publications that chambers do that turn into like these community magazines, and it's fluff, and it's lost its way. It doesn't talk about the chamber, it loses its message. So come back to the message, take some time to really figure out what that message is. How many people here take their publications and post the PDF to your website? Just the PDF only, not a flip book. All right? So for those who are still doing that, recommendation to you, stop it. Stop it. It's 2017. Write this down, www.issue.com. It's free. Get yourself a free account. Post your PDFs on there. You can buy a paid account, which will give you more stuff. You get an embed code. You embed the flip books in your website. It's free. It's 2017, guys. Doing PDFs online, you got to download them. It really is a pain in the butt. Now, printed publications, they have to have the digital partners. So this was supposed to flip, but it's not flipping. So it's a flip book, okay? And this was on issue.com. For some reason, it's not flipping. Where? No. Yeah.
What about that blue arrow?
Yeah, I put it into PowerPoint. It's kind of not working. So anyway, well, you got so digital flip books. They're cheap. They're inexpensive. Websites. The digital flip books that we host for the chambers that we have. The average is 5.5 minutes that people are spending on the flip books, with the majority of traffic coming from desktops. So people are looking at these things on their computers, not necessarily on. So it's important to have it, do it, it's free. Websites, companion websites. How many chambers have one website at their chamber? A lot of you. How many of you have multiple websites? Good. So it's a trend in the chamber industry that you're not like, no, we need everybody to go to the chamber website. Well, it's not a be-all and end-all for everybody. So one of the things that we do is provide websites that are content-driven by the publication. So it doesn't matter if it's done by a publisher, whether you do it in-house. Our service, we can turn it into a website. And again, it's not working, but you can click and make it more dynamic and all that kind of stuff. Social media, of course, tie it all together with social media. I'm drawing a blank on your name. Mark! There we go. So Mark was saying, yes, tie them all together. So Mark, it's very important to make all these things work together. Take little snippets and bits and pieces of your printed publication. Push it out on social media. Drive people back to the website. Drive people back to the flip book. Drive people everywhere, just so you're generating that kind of traffic. So that they all work in partnership. That's one of the services that Chamber Marketing Partners provides. If you don't have the time to do all that, we can pull a whole program together, pull the content. Doesn't matter if we've done it, if you guys have done it, somebody else have done it. We'll schedule it all out and push it out. You don't have to worry about it. We work together on that. So imagine a world where the Chamber has complete control over its publications, complete control over the finances. If you want to make more money because you have a fully transparent budget. You say, wait, we want more money, let's do that. Okay, let's figure it out. It's your project. Well, what if you have full flexibility over your content? Say you wanted to have another article. You don't have to wait for somebody to say, no, we can't do that because the sales weren't enough. Get more articles in there. Just run it through the budget and say that's what we want to do. For those chambers that are doing it in-house, you know what that means. What about chamber members to participate in parts of the project? Well, let's get RFPs out to those members. Let's get writers. Let's get photographers. Let's get printers. Let's get distribution companies. You can do all that kind of stuff. Chamber Marketing Partners is a company that does all of that stuff. Our core competency is helping chambers who publish in-house.